So if you clicked on this video, then you're probably interested in starting an Amazon wholesale business in 2021 and beyond. So in this video, I want to give you guys a step-by-step process that you can follow in order to get your business started off on the right foot and also avoid many of the pitfalls that you may run into if you didn't have a process to follow. Hey, what's going on guys? Marvin here. Welcome back to another video. Like always, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, turn on your post notifications so you guys don't miss any of my future videos. And if you guys want to work with me directly, get some one-on-one mentorship, then click the first link in the description. It'll tell you everything that you need to know in order to work with me directly and get that one-on-one mentorship that you may need. So like I said in the beginning, I want to give you guys a step-by-step process that you guys can follow in 2021 and beyond to get your business started off on the right foot. Now in this video, I'm going to assume that you already have an Amazon seller account. You already have basic knowledge of how Amazon FBA works, what Amazon FBA is, how to send in shipments, and all of that good stuff. Now, if you don't have any idea of what Amazon FBA is and everything that I just mentioned, then you're still going to want to watch this video because it's going to have a ton of value for you that you are going to need if you want to start an Amazon wholesale business, and it's still going to give you a great foundation to follow moving forward. All right, so let's start off with step number one. So step number one is super important. It is the absolute first step that you need to do before you do anything else. And that is to get your legalities in order, get your business formed, become a business so you guys can move forward and start working with these wholesale suppliers. Now you can get an LLC, you can become a corporation, you can also do a sole proprietorship. Now you can do business with a sole proprietor. I've heard that it works with many suppliers. I've also heard that some suppliers don't want to do business with sole proprietors, but an LLC is just going to give you that extra layer of protection with your business, okay? Now, I can't say this enough. You want to do your own research when it comes to forming your business, or maybe talk to a legal professional to see which business formation is going to be the best fit for you and the stage that your business is in. Now, along with forming your business, you're also going to want to get a seller's permit so you can avoid having to pay sales tax when you're working with these wholesale suppliers. Now, depending on the state that you're in, it's going to have a different name, but here in California, we call it a seller's permit, but in your state, it may be called something else. Now, there's also states where they don't charge sales tax, and if you're in one of those states, you just want to make sure that you don't need anything else in place of a seller's permit. If you don't, then fantastic, but you just want to check to make sure. Now, I am going to come out with the video talking more in depth about seller's permits and LLCs and what formations that you can have with your business. If I've already done that video, then I'll link it up here in the cards. If I haven't, then just look out for that video. Make sure you turn on your post notifications so you guys don't miss that video if you're interested in seller's permits and LLCs and all of that good stuff. All right, but that's step number one. Now, step number two is you need to learn how to find suppliers. If you don't know how to find suppliers and you can't find suppliers, then you can't find products and you won't be able to make any money, because no suppliers equals no products equals no money. So you want to make sure you know how to find suppliers effectively. You want to make sure you know how to find good suppliers. And you also want to make sure you know different methods that are going to help you find those suppliers, because if you only know one way to do it, and once you exhaust that one method, you have nothing else left to help you find suppliers. So you're going to want to learn multiple different ways so you guys can make sure you're able to buy those profitable products from them. So step number two, learn how to find wholesale suppliers. Now, if you don't know how to find suppliers for your wholesale business, then just make sure to go down below in the description. I have a playlist down there with videos on this channel that are going to show you how to find suppliers, multiple different methods that you can use to start finding your wholesale suppliers. So just check down below, it's in a playlist, and you'll be able to watch those videos right after this one. Just make sure you watch this one until the end. Now, step number three is your contact strategy. So now you know how to find wholesale suppliers. So now you need to have a strategy for contacting as many of them as efficiently as possible. So you can either call them, you can email them, you can message them on their website portal. What I recommend is calling and emailing. Now, you want to combine these together so that you can do it as efficiently as possible, because there is going to be suppliers that respond very fast with email. There's going to be suppliers that take a long time to respond via email. And there's also going to be the suppliers where they never respond via email. So what you want to do, let's say you have a list of 20 suppliers that you found today and you want to contact all of them, right? You want to send an email to all of them, give it about a day, and then see which ones are responding to you, even a couple of days. But see which ones are responding to you, because like I said, some suppliers are going to respond very quickly via email. The ones that don't respond to you, then you start calling them. but this is going to help you be as efficient as possible. Now, before you start emailing your suppliers, you want to decide whether you're going to have a business email or a personal email. Now, when I first started out, I was only using my personal email and I contacted hundreds of suppliers and it did work. But looking back, it's not as professional as a business email. Obviously, it's not the best representation of your business, so I highly recommend you guys use a business email. Now, at bare minimum, if you don't want to use a business email, you don't want to buy a domain to be able to get a business email, then I recommend that you guys do yourcompany@gmail.com or yourcompany@yahoo.com. Do not use just your name or Camaro 656 or whatever it may be, some crazy email that may be out there. Don't use that, okay? Use your company at whatever email provider you want to use at bare minimum, but I recommend using a business email. All right, so step number 4 is the supplier search. You know how to find suppliers, you know what kind of contact strategy you're going to use, so now you're going to start looking for suppliers. Now, what I recommend you do is you stick to one category at a time. Now, I'm not saying only sell and stick to one category forever for your entire business. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is stick to one category, exhaust all of the suppliers that you can find with all of your methods in that one category, and then move on to the next one. If you don't do that and you category jump, which is, let's say you spend a half hour or an hour or even less, you find one supplier and then you're like, oh, maybe this category is better, and you go and look in this other category, you're not ever going to get past that surface level. You're never going to get past, let's say, the first page of Google, okay? So you don't want to do that. So you want to exhaust your methods, exhaust your options in that one category, find as many suppliers as you can, and then move on to the next category. This is going to give you better chances of finding those suppliers that not everyone is finding. Everyone finds those first initial suppliers, but you don't want to find those suppliers. You want to find the suppliers that nobody's finding because they're not spending the time searching deep into one category. Again, just to reiterate, I'm not saying stick to one category forever. I'm just saying exhaust your options in one category, then move on to the next one, then move on to the next one. Now, along with that, you also want to be thinking about, am I looking for distributors? Am I looking for brands? Am I looking for both? You can do whatever you want. This is your business. You're not just limited to distributors or brands. You can work with both. But what you do have to keep in mind is that this is a numbers game. I've said it since I started on YouTube. This business is a numbers game. You're going to need to contact a lot of suppliers to find those good suppliers that you can build your business with. Now, the last thing that you want to have in your mind is that I only have to contact 10 suppliers and I'm going to make my entire business. That's not going to happen, okay? This is a numbers game. You need to contact a lot of suppliers to find those good ones. Now, when you are building this list of suppliers that you're finding, you want to make sure you're keeping track of all the information that you're getting. So you want to open up an Excel file or maybe a Google Sheets file and keep track of all of the suppliers you're finding. So you would want to open up an Excel file and have different categories, name of supplier, website, contact point, so who your sales rep is, email, phone number, what category they sell in or what category of products they sell in. Did they answer the phone? Did they open an account with you? Did they say no Amazon seller? Did they say contact me later? You want to have an Excel file that has all of that information, because once you start contacting a lot of suppliers, it's going to get very, very difficult to keep track of everything that's going on. Now, the most important thing that I can tell you about the supplier search and when you start finding these suppliers and looking for these suppliers is that you will get rejected. You will be told no. You will be told we don't work with Amazon sellers. You will be told we don't work with online sellers. This is just part of the business. There's no sugarcoating or going around or beating around the bush. You will be told no many, many times, but there are thousands and thousands of suppliers that will work with you no matter what, okay? Even though you're an online seller, even if you just say, hey, I sell on Amazon, I want to buy your products, they're still going to open up an account with you and they're still going to sell to you. But when that rejection comes, when those no's start coming, is when the strong entrepreneur mentality is going to come into play to help you get over that. Because it does suck, but once you start contacting a lot of suppliers, it's just going to become a normal thing because it's just part of the business. But keep in mind, there are thousands of suppliers that will work with you. All right, so step number 5 is product research. You know how to find suppliers, you're contacting them, you're building this big old list, but now you have found some suppliers, they have given you their inventory list, and you're trying to go through them to see which profitable products you can purchase. So product research, I would say, is the biggest reason why people lose money. They think they know what they're doing, but they don't. Or they're way overzealous and they miss different factors in the product research phase, or they just look over it, or they just think it'll be fine. I'm just gonna ignore this. And that's when people start losing money. So product research is incredibly important to your business because it's going to decide whether you're buying profitable products or losing products. Remember, you're making money on the purchase of the product. Okay, when you purchase that product is when you're making your money, because whatever price you get, whatever product you're buying based off of the research is going to decide whether that's a profitable product before you even send it into Amazon. So you're going to need to learn how to do product research. Some of the most important tools that you're going to need is a list scanning software. I recommend ScanUnlimited. That's what I use. That's what I recommend to all my students. It's linked down below in the description if you guys want a discount. If you don't, then just go to their website. But ScanUnlimited, love that software for scanning wholesale lists. Now you're also going to need the Keepa Graph. The Keepa Graph is the most important tool when it comes to product research. There is no other tool that's more important than the Keepa Graph because it tells you a bunch of different data that you can use to make the best decision possible when it comes to purchasing these products. You can go back and look at the data for a year. You can go back and look at the data for even longer than that, the life of the product. You can see how many sellers are on that listing, how many sellers were on that listing 3 months ago, 6 months ago. You can see how fast that product is selling and get a sales rank, so you can go and use a different tool to estimate sales rank or sales velocity. You can see what price points it's selling at. You can see if Amazon is selling at. You can see what the buy box is at. So Keepa is about $17 a month, but it is absolutely essential to this business. Now the next tool you're gonna need is a fee calculator, profit loss calculator for Amazon. Now there's a ton of different Chrome extensions and different softwares that you guys can use that are completely free to use. I recommend the Amazon Revenue Calculator if you're going to go the free route. But if you guys do go the free route and you don't want to use Amazon Revenue Calculator for whatever reason, and you want to get a Chrome extension that's a little bit faster, just make sure it's accurate. Compare different ones to each other and make sure you're picking an accurate profit calculator, because I've used different profit calculators out there in the past and some of them were way off. So you want to make sure you have an accurate, good profit calculator that you guys can rely on. Now, another tool that you're going to need is a sales estimator. So you can go to junglescout.com/estimator and it will help you determine the sales velocity of a product that you're evaluating. Now, this is incredibly important because it's going to help you decide how many units of a product that you need to purchase. So if a product is selling 50 units a month and then you go and buy 500 units, that's not the best amount to buy for a product that's not selling very fast. So this is a completely free website that you can go to. Again, junglescout.com/estimator, and it will help you determine the sales velocity of a product. Now, step number 6 is listing your product. Now, you want to do this before you purchase. We're not listing the product entirely onto our inventory page and doing the whole process unless you want to. But what I do recommend is you do the initial process of listing your product. You want to enter it into Amazon to make sure that you're not gated. Because if you purchase that product, you send your supplier that money, and then you realize, oh, I'm gated in this ASIN, or I'm gated in this category, or I'm gated in this brand, then that's not a scenario that you want to be in, because you've already sent that money to your supplier. It's not going to look good on you and your business if you've sent that money already and then you tell them, hey, I can't sell this product, I need that money back. Okay? You don't want to be in that situation, so you want to start the initial listing process to make sure that you're not gated. You just want to check, okay, I'm not gated, I'm allowed to sell this product, and then you can go and purchase that product. All right, so now we're on step number 7, which is negotiating and ordering. Now, you don't want to be afraid of negotiating, because in the wholesale business, it's normal practice to try to negotiate with your supplier. Now, if you don't feel comfortable trying to negotiate your first purchase or your second purchase, or maybe even your 5th purchase because it's a brand new supplier, then don't, okay? This is your business. There are no rules for your business. You decide what you want to do, but I'm telling you that it's okay to try to negotiate right off the bat, because this isn't some sort of knockout, drag out sort of negotiation, okay, with your supplier. You're simply asking for a discount in order for you to be able to purchase more inventory, for example, okay? But keep in mind that all suppliers are different. Some suppliers can give you bigger discounts. Some suppliers can give you small discounts. Some suppliers can't give you discounts at all, or any discount that's really significant. And also, there's a few factors that will help you negotiate or help you get those bigger discounts. One of them being that supplier, what kind of supplier is it? Are they able to offer bigger discounts? 2 is time with that supplier. How long have you been purchasing with the supplier? How long have you been doing business with that supplier? Because that does matter. The longer you've been doing business with a supplier, the more discount you can get, or the easier it is to negotiate price. and also leverage. So if you don't have any money, or you have, you know, $100 or $200 and you're trying to negotiate these big discounts, it's not going to be as effective as if you walk in and you have 30,000 or 50,000 or 10,000 in order to negotiate. So leverage, as far as with your capital, is going to play a factor in negotiating. All right, so step number 8 is shipping and prepping. You want to have an idea of what your plan is when it comes to shipping and prepping before you purchase your product, because after you purchase your product, you send that money to that supplier. They want to ship it out as soon as possible. They don't want to be holding on to inventory that they don't need to because it's already sold, so they want to get it out the door. So are you going to ship it to yourself? Are you going to ship it to Amazon? Or are you going to ship it to a prep center? And who is going to do the prepping? Okay. Now, if you've already purchased your product and you had it in your head that I'm going to send it to Amazon, they're going to do all the legwork when it comes to prepping, and then your supplier tells you we don't send it directly to Amazon, then you have to have a different plan. So you're either going to have to send it to yourself or a prep center. If you don't have a prep center that you have an account with, then you're going to need to send it to yourself. So you want to have contingencies in place. So I highly recommend that everyone have a prep center that they work with. Now, ideally, you would want to sign up with your prep center before you purchase. So you already have an account, you already know what their process is like, you've already vetted them out to make sure they're a good prep center, so that you have no lag time when it comes to purchasing your inventory and sending it to them. All right, so now step number 9 is pricing. So now you've done all the process, you've done all the steps that we've gone over, and now your products are live and available for sale for customers to purchase on the Amazon platform. So now you want to have an idea of what kind of price point you're going to have for each and every product. What are your minimums going to be that you don't want to go lower than? What sort of profit are you expecting from each and every product that you sent in? Now, let's say you decide I want to have a 15% return on my investment for each and every one of my products that I've sent in. Now, what you don't want to do is have that set in your mind, and then 2 days go by or 3 days go by or maybe even a week go by, and then you completely panic, and because your products aren't selling, or you're trying to sell it at a higher price than other sellers, and you completely panic and you just sell at whatever price you can get your money back, even at a loss. This is very, very common with new sellers. They panic, they see that the price is going down, or they see that they're not selling anything and it's been a few days. So they just sell at whatever price they can to recoup some of that money back. You don't want to do this. This is a very, very common thing in new sellers, and it leads to a lot of lost money. There's really no point. If you did your product research properly, you know that price is going to go up. You know what your competitors look like, so you know roughly an idea of how much profit you're going to make on each and every one of those products. If you didn't do your product research properly, then that's probably why a lot of people panic, is because they just bought a product and they just sent it in. Okay, so do your product research properly. It's going to give you a lot of peace of mind, and it's also going to ensure that you're picking profitable products and you're reducing your risk of losing money as much as possible. All right, so now step number 10, which is our last step in this video, is that you want to be able to provide value whenever you can. You always want to have a mindset of providing value to your suppliers in whichever manner that you can. It's going to look very, very different for each and every one of those suppliers. You don't want to be somebody who just shows up, takes, and then when there's nothing for them, just completely disappears for months at a time, years at a time, or never comes back to that supplier. At all times, you have to keep in mind that this is the people business. The suppliers that we're working with, the sales reps that we're dealing with, all of the people that we are dealing with in this business are people just like you and I, okay? So you want to make sure that you're trying to provide value whenever you can in order to make your business stand out from all of the other competitors that are just showing up, taking. When there's nothing for them, they just completely disappear, okay? So have a mentality of providing value whenever you can. Now, I know this video is longer than some of my other videos, but it has a lot of great information, very, very valuable information that you can take and apply to your own business to get your Amazon wholesale business started on the right foot. So if you need to watch this video multiple times to make sure you get all of the information, then do that. Make sure to smash the like button if you haven't done so already. And if you found this video helpful, and if you want to know how to find wholesale suppliers, then I'll have a video for you up on the screen right after this. You just have to click on it and you can start finding your wholesale suppliers from there. All right, I'll see you guys in that next video.